Hello, friends. Today is Thursday, August 15th. I can't believe it's already August 15th, 2024. Welcome to Bright Heart Mystic Oracles. I wanted to do a quick reading for today to see what messages Spirit wants us to hear. I felt today pulled toward Native Spirit Oracle by Denise Lynn. And as usual, I will list the decks that I use in the description. I also felt pulled to the Mystical Shaman Oracle. I have the full one, but I have this little pocket one too, which is really nice. So I thought I would use the Mystical Shaman Pocket Oracle today. So let's see what messages Spirit has. I'm feeling very pulled to, I feel this kind of indigenous energy today. Spirits, indigenous spirits may be coming to give us some guidance today. So great spirit, spirit angels, ancestors, ascended masters, great spirit. What is a message that the collective needs to know today from the Native Spirit Oracle? Okay, anything else? Anything else? Any other messages from this deck? Okay, there's one other card. And let's see what we need to know from the Mystical Shaman today. What's the message from these cards always feel very intense to me. They have an intense, a very intense energy. There's one. And what else? Any other messages, Spirit? And it's interesting, the circle of life that just fell out so quickly. So I feel like that's the overall theme, the circle of life. That's the overall theme for today. Okay, any other messages from the Mystical Shaman Oracle, Spirit? Oh, there one fell out right there. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. Well, as I said, we have the Circle of Life, which is seems to me like the main theme of the message today. The Circle of Life. Look at that beautiful card. And all that green. So heart chakra, certainly. Circle of Life. When I look at this card, it feels very like peaceful. This card to me, it feels peaceful, and there's something about it that's very, what's the word I'm trying to think of? That's very like comforting and meaningful. It feels to me like when I see Circle of Life, I feel this feeling of, oh, things make sense and everything has meaning, of how everything's interconnected. So for me, at least, I find that like a very comforting kind of thing. It's interesting, the circle. And it's interesting because sometimes I feel like, sometimes when you talk about circles, some people can feel kind of confused by it, especially people who tend to think in a much more like linear way, that a circle can actually kind of be confusing. Whereas for me, I feel like it brings me into connection with like my true, like even lineage and like the truth of how everything is and interconnected. So, okay, so that's kind of a big message, isn't it? Circle of Life. Okay, let's see what our other, oh wow, our other Native spirit card is Spirit Keeper of the West. Spirit Keeper of the West. Wow. Okay, so whew, this is giving me angel bumps. So the first feeling that I'm getting from this card is look at all of that amazing light and look at those earth colors. So I certainly feel like this card is connecting us with the lower chakras, the root chakra, the sacral chakra. There's yellow for the solar plexus. Excuse me, I feel like I have to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. And, oof. So, wow. And then you've got that divine light up at the top. So the Spirit Keeper of the West. North, south, east, west. Well, and in a lot of native tradition, the West is, the West is very spiritual and kind of, if you think of a lot of indigenous cultures and how they lived before like European settlers came to this continent, and you had, that was more the West, right? Like as opposed to, because the European settlers came from the East. So the East is often like, you know, something more new coming in, where the West is more like tradition and keeper of kind of sacred knowledge and protection. And that's interesting. So I'm gonna also look in the guidebook and see if that has some message for us as well. But Spirit Keeper of the West, I get a feeling like it's kind of like telling us that we are part of our kind of job or something is being able to hold on to kind of the sacred knowledge and kind of like protect it, even though we know that there'll always be other things kind of coming in from the East. It's very interesting. And there's lots of traditional indigenous sacred prophecies about kind of what happened, and that would even say that the indigenous folks would ultimately be the ones who may save humanity, because of things like, I don't know why I'm talking about this, it's just coming up, so I'm going with it. Even like traditional ecological knowledge and how everything's interconnected. So there you go, there's the circle of life. And so I think it's kind of saying to us as a collective, part of our mission is to honor those things and to protect those things and help share that information and knowledge, so as to help the world, basically. I'm going to also see what, if any, I can't talk, sorry. What the guidebook says. Okay, Spirit Keeper of the West. That's page 88. 88. Isn't that interesting too? 88. Okay, Spirit Keeper of the West. Transformation. Letting go of the old. Initiation, illumination, harvest. Gather your inner resources. Trust your heart. Chaos brings positive change. Okay, that makes sense because, and often when in my experience in life of learning from even native elders and things, it was always a sense of that for hundreds of years, they foresaw the chaos kind of coming from the East. So it's interesting. Chaos brings positive change. Almost all change comes out of turmoil. Don't be concerned if there is confusion in your life. It will all work out. Very interesting. Out of the chaos arise illumination and transformation. The Spirit Keeper of the West. reminds us to slow down our rapid growth and harvest what we have attained. Wow, very interesting. Yeah, so I feel like it's like a combination of kind of of us having the knowledge and protecting, and it's almost like welcoming the new while also protecting some of the old, if that makes any sense. And purifying energy. And it gives us a little, there's actually a meditation it recommends that's called the journey. So I will read that for anyone who would like to practice this for Spirit Keeper of the West. Stand facing the west and the setting sun. Imagine that all limitations and blockages in your life are flowing from your heart into the sun. As the sun sets, it carries with it your cares and concerns to be transformed by its purifying energy. Isn't that lovely? So transformation, new things, amazing. Okay, let's see what we got from the Mystical Shaman Oracle. First we got Stand Still. Boy, looks so similar in certain ways to the Spirit Keeper of the West card, doesn't it? Stand Still. Card number 52. Stand Still. Okay. Then we have the Ancient Ones. Whew, wow. Here we go, getting angel bumps again. That's card number 1, the Ancient Ones. And the third card is the Rattle, 43. 43. Okay, so, well, this is interesting. The first thing I'm noticing is these 3 cards all, color-wise, are so consistent with the Spirit Keeper of the West. That's very interesting. Stand still. I kind of see 2 interpretations of this. On the one hand, it feels like, oh, things may be at or feel like they're at a standstill. The other one is maybe it's time to stand still a bit and not feel like you have to move so fast, which I think that was part of the message of the Spirit Keeper of the West card as well, about being able to slow down. And then this card's interesting because here's this person sitting here in this meditative state. And there was a card the other day from one of the readings where it looked very similar the way the person was sitting. So I think there's some message about you know, I think it was about balancing the divine and the kind of everyday life. And I feel like this is this message of like bringing everything together. Very interesting. Stand still. The Ancient Ones. Okay, this card, oh, that's just beautiful. And look at the details of the headdress, the person smiling, all of the different colors. Wow, that's gorgeous. I mean, that to me also feels so, gosh, in tune with both the Circle of Life and the Spirit Keeper of the West, because to me it's saying that the starting point, the foundation, the baseline, the context. I do a lot of like research and writing and on public health, so I talk a lot about things like the baseline, the context, the foundation. So I feel like this is kind of saying to us that the foundation for all of this reading today, is the ancestors, the spiritual leaders, our guides, our guardians, are the ones who are guiding what we're doing and where the message is coming from. And then we have the Rattle, card number 43, the Rattle. Wow, that's amazing too, the Rattle. Huh. So I'm going to probably get the guidebook on this one too, because I feel like I need a little more clarity. But it's interesting. What comes to me is looking at it, It's almost like, it's going to sound weird. It's almost like a circular sword, okay? Like I think of when we hear about like Archangel Michael and the sword of light. I'm almost like this is maybe an indigenous version of that, right? Like the circle in native culture can be like the sword because it's so pure and it's so strong and it's so based on that foundation of the circle of life being the baseline of kind of all that is the universe, everything that exists. So the rattle, and then the rattle is also a musical instrument that can be used to make noise, to bring joy, to dance and sing and enjoy life. So I feel like it's kind of a combination of all of those things. But I am going to consult the guidebook here for a moment and see what it says, see if it has any additional messages about the rattle. Oh, interesting. The rattle is the spirit caller, carrying the shaman's prayer to the 4 directions. The body of the rattle is like the earth spinning on its axis. Okay, with the aid of the rattle, the medicine woman instills a desired destiny in her future, closing with the prayer, Great Spirit, may your will be done. The rattle guides us to pray for all the earth, not just for our personal needs. Okay, that feels very consistent with the circle of life, and even feeling like part of our work as a collective is to help the earth. When we offer our prayers for the highest good of all, everything we need is provided for us. Okay, and then it's interesting how I was saying the thing about the rattle being like a sword. Listen to this. The rattle comes to invite you to work with the tools of spirit, but be careful. They are very sharp and can hurt you and others if they are not used mindfully. Wow. This is the time for courageous deeds. Do not let your hesitation get in the way of your expression. That feels very consistent with the Spirit Keeper of the West as well. The medicine of the rattle card is you want to catch God, and God, who whatever you think to mean God, on the whisper, not on the shout. What you're trying to craft to your own desires and expectations is already there, standing, stand still, standing before you. Do not spin the world to your own benefit. You're being offered the Creator's tools, which must be put to use to serve a divine purpose. Wow. Okay, so wow, what a message. I just got up today saying it's going to be some kind of normal old day, and then here it is, this amazing message for us about that we're working with spirit, and we need to be mindful and respectful, and the ancient ones are guiding us. The rattle is a tool, but be mindful, be careful. Remember that everything's interconnected. Wow. And we are here to help and heal the earth and all of us. So, well, that's an interesting message. Okay, so I'm just going to show these again quick. Spirit Keeper of the West. Circle of Life. Stand still. The Ancient Ones. The rattle. Well, I feel like this was a really beautiful message. It's a bit of a heavy message, but it's definitely a beautiful message. I feel a sense of responsibility from this message, but it's not like it's not light, but it's not like, it doesn't feel burdensome. It feels a little heavy, but it feels to me, it feels doable, and it feels like it's very grounding. It feels grounding and connected to me. So, okay, well, that's the interesting reading for today. Thank you so much for joining. And if you feel so inclined, please consider subscribing to my channel And I will be back hopefully tomorrow with another message. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful, fabulous, glorious day. And I'll see y'all soon. Aho. Bye for now.